The Champions League quarterfinal matchups are right around the corner, and we got 4 big games coming up, and I am super excited for this year's UCL. I actually think that the new format that they instilled for this season has been fire. I'm not gonna lie. Like the whole league format of the UCL table, right? Having the playoffs, which is basically a glorified round of 32, right? All these clubs, they've obviously advanced past the round of 16, and now we're down to the last 8 clubs. And I think a majority of these teams here feel like they actually have a chance to make the final come May in Germany at Bayern's stadium. But look, we're going to have to get into each matchup, and I'm going to be predicting what I think will happen, right? And I'm also going to be giving my aggregate score on who I think will advance into the semis. I need you guys to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, get in the comment section, and let me know what are your predictions for these quarterfinal matchups. Let's get it. I want to start off with what I believe to be the most underrated matchup of the quarterfinals, and that is PSG versus Aston Villa. I think this is going to be a very two competitive games. I'm gonna be very honest. Like, I think this has the chance to be the best matchup that we get throughout these games, because if you look at it, right, Aston Villa, they are sitting 7th in the Premier League. They're not having the best campaign domestically, but we know what they can do in terms of with this manager, right? Unai Emery, his track record in European competitions speaks for itself. And I know that PSG are the favorites to go through, and I agree with that, but Villa have some players that can hurt you. And the style of play that they're going to implement during these 2 legs can work in their favor with the squad that they have. I mean, we're talking about guys like Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers, John McGinn, Yuri Tillmans, right? Emi Martinez is in goal, right? You got a good midfield, right? Kamara. You also got like Leon Bailey. You got Marcus Rashford, who's there looking rejuvenated. Marco Asensio, he's on loan with Aston Villa from PSG. Now, I don't even know if that guy can play because there might be some stipulations in the loan. But regardless, right, we've seen Unai Emery take squads that don't have as much talent and go deep, right? Let's not forget about what he did with Villarreal only a few years ago. Nobody ever thought that they'd have made it that far. So I think do not write off Aston Villa, right? Again, they're not doing that well in the Prem. They're probably not going to finish in a UCL spot for this season. They'll probably be in the Europa League. But I think this is going to be competitive, right? Because we're going to see the 7th best team in the Premier League play against the best team in France. So let's see if the Premier League can prove themselves in this leg, because everybody talks about the French league being a farmers league and all these different things. So then it should be competitive, right? Because PSG, I'm going to be real. They are cooking at the moment. They are on some amazing form, right? They are first in France, right? They're topping Liga, which is to be expected because they usually do dominate the domestic league, and they usually sweep up in terms of winning all the trophies there because they do have the best squad. But what Unai Emery has done, especially since they've lost Mbappe, has been fantastic, bro. PSG arguably play the best football in the world. That team is full of ballers. The technical level at PSG is insane. And I think they are the favorites. I think a lot of us expect them to go through. And we know that they are going to play a very attractive brand of football. They're going to dominate the ball. They're going to create chances. But I think the one thing that can hurt PSG is their finishing, right? We know that they're not as clinical, right? They don't have somebody up front that's super deadly in front of goal. But regardless, I mean, you got to look at that attack. Look at that midfield. Look at the back line. I mean, freaking hell, you got Marquinhos. I want to bring that up really quickly. He is suspended for the first leg. So that is going to be a big blow for them. But they have William Pacho back there, right? They're probably going to play Beraldo in center back next to him. Their attack is crazy. You got Ousmane Dembele, who's having the best season of his career, right? You got Bradley Barcola. You got Kvaratskhelia, who they brought in January. You got Desiree Doué, baller. The midfield. Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Warren Zaire-Emery, the back line, Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, and then you got Donnarumma in goal. And we just saw PSG knock out arguably the favorites heading into the knockout stages, which was Liverpool. Liverpool struggled to break this PSG team down. Like, I think a lot of people were surprised at how well PSG have played. Now, in terms of what I think is going to happen during this, in terms of the aggregate scoreline, I think it's going to be close. And I'm giving PSG on aggregate. I think they advance to the semis 3-2. Do not write off Aston Villa, chat. And I can tell you exactly how this is going to go, right? PSG are going to dominate the ball. Villa are going to sit back. They're going to allow PSG to pass it around, and they're going to look to hit them on the counter, right? You got Rashford, runner. You got Ollie Watkins up front that likes to play on the counter as well. You also have guys like Leon Bailey. It's a lot of pace in that Aston Villa attack. And also their midfield is very structurally sound. And I think their back line is decent, right? And then, again, I brought up Emi Martinez, who is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's going to be able to withstand the pressure that PSG are going to apply. But I just think ultimately, I think PSG's midfield and their attack is going to be too much for Aston Villa to handle. And again, if Liverpool couldn't really break them down, if Mo Salah went missing across two legs, I mean, you'd have to give PSG the advantage here. So I'm predicting 3-2 on aggregate, right? The first leg, like we said, is in France. I think PSG are going to win that game 2-1. And then I think the second leg at Villa Park is going to end 1-1. And it'll end 3-2. So let me know what you guys are saying about PSG versus Aston Villa. Next, let's get into Bayern Munchen versus Inter Milan. And on paper, this matchup had the potential to be the best one that we got. But due to some very recent injuries that have happened, especially to Bayern, I don't really think that this matchup is as exciting as it could have been. Right now, we got arguably the best team in Italy going against the best team in Germany. And I think, let's just be very honest here, Inter Milan are the favorites, right? I think they will ultimately go through, and I will give you my aggregate prediction in a few minutes. But just looking at what Inter Milan have, right? They're first in Italy. Now, they do have a couple of key players that may not be available, right? Like Lautaro Martinez. He is dealing with some injury issues at the moment. Denzel Dumfries as well. But they still got Barella, Bastoni, right? Marcus Thuram, DeMarco, the left wing back, Kalinoglu. You also got Benjamin Pavard. They have good players there still. And they do have a very good system with Inzaghi, right? Like that back three is very hard to break down. I'm not going to lie, because how structurally sound they are, right? Inter, we know that they will stink it out. Inter don't need to play attractive football to get the job done. They're more than happy with playing a very nasty low block and making it damn near impossible for you to score against them. Now, looking at Bayern, right? They are first in the Bundesliga, but they are coming into this with a lot of injuries that I think cripples their chances. And it's not just regular players, right? We're talking about Alphonso Davies. I think he tore his ACL during the international break. He's done for the season. You got Upamecano, who's not going to be available for like a month. So he's going to miss both legs. Manuel Neuer will more than likely not be there. And also Pavlovic in the midfield, injured. We're talking about 4 key players for Bayern in the business end of the season. And we already know that Bayern backline was very shaky to begin with. That Bayern backline was shit, even when their players were fit. So now that they're going to have to rely on Kim Min-jae and Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer in 2025 at a big club like Bayern. Now, even though I do believe that Bayern are the underdogs, especially with those injuries, right? We're definitely not going to just write them off, right? Because they are a huge club. They do have European pedigree, right? We've seen them win this trophy. And with the final being at their stadium, right, that definitely does have to give them a little bit of an extra boost. but I just don't know if it's going to be enough to beat Inter Milan with the players that they don't have available. So I'm going to be very honest, chat. I'm going with Bayern Munchen 1, Inter Milan 3. I don't think that Bayern are going to have that many goal scoring opportunities, right? Now, they do still have a very good squad that they can play out there, right? Like Musiala is going to be available, Harry Kane, Olise, right? Joshua Kimmich, I think Leon Goretzka. They do have players that will make it competitive. And I don't think that Inter are going to just go and just dominate them in terms of bag all these goals, despite the injuries that they have. But I just don't really see how Bayern are going to be able to score like that. Like, people don't realize, bro, Inter defensively are ridiculous. So I think, look, we'll see them score 3. I think Lautaro Martinez will be fit. I think he will play. Whereas, yeah, that Bayern back line, it's not that good, bro. And I think that's going to be their biggest downfall. Now, the first leg for this is in Germany, right? Where I think the game can end maybe like 2-0, bro. I'm be real. I think Inter go into that first leg and win 2-0. And then I think the second leg ends 1-1 in Italy. Could be reversed, but who knows, right? So get in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking about this. But yeah, Harry Kane, Musiala, Olise, they're going to have to drop a masterclass if Bayern do have a chance to go through. Now, this matchup right here is the one that I am looking forward to the least, because it's just so unfair that this is even happening, because I think Barcelona are going to beat the absolute dog piss out of Dortmund. Dortmund have zero chance. Like, I cannot believe how easy Barca's run to the semifinals has been. Like, they have had such a weak UCL campaign so far, where the only decent team that they've really played was Bayern. And this is a weakened mid Bayern team at that. Like, let's just be very honest. Like, this Bayern team is not what we are used to seeing over the years. So in my opinion, Barca have had an easy run so far in the UCL, but regardless, right? They've been playing some fantastic football in the league. They've been playing good football in the UCL. They've just been dominant, right? They are the best team in Spain, and they are arguably the best team in the world. Unlike Dortmund, who have fallen off a cliff. Dortmund are sitting, what, 10th in the Bundesliga? These guys can't keep a clean sheet to save their life. If I was playing against Dortmund every week, I might bag a hat trick. These guys are shit. High scoring, high intensity in terms of game flow, but defensively, they're shocking. And I think that Barcelona are going to demolish them. This is going to be the least competitive matchup out of the 4 games that we have. I'm telling you this right now. I think Barcelona are going to just score goals for fun. They played earlier this season in the UCL where Barca beat them, I think, like 3-2. But trust me, it's not going to be like that during these 2 legs. Not the Barca that we're watching right now, who are scoring 5 and 4 goals for fun, who are dominating Real Madrid this season and Atleti in their matchups. Imagine what they're going to do to Dortmund. I try to tell you guys, bro. Dortmund, they are a big club by history, but they're not serious, right? These guys are more so interested in selling their players and making a profit than winning trophies. I tried to tell you guys, Dortmund are human traffickers, bruv. They want to find young kids, buy them for cheap, make them good, and then sell them for big profit. As long as they do that, then they're satisfied, right? They don't actually care about competing, which is why the Bundesliga, in my opinion, is not rated that highly. Because all the teams that are in there, aside from Bayern, don't prioritize winning. Thank God Xabi Alonso came in and made it competitive over the last 2 seasons. But Dortmund have been a massive disappointment. Now, they do have some key players that I think can cause Barca problems, right? And I think this is going to be a very high scoring 2 legs. I think the aggregate's going to be off the chart. But you got the striker, I always mispronounce his name, but he's one of the top goal scorers in the UCL this season, right? You got Jamie Gittins, you got Kobel, the goalkeeper, who's definitely decent, Nico Slaughterback, Kareem Adeyemi up front that can cause Barca some issues with his pace. It just depends, man. Are Dortmund going to be able to exploit that high line that Barca have? I think they can. But the issue is they're not going to be able to stop Barca from going down the other end and scoring a bunch of goals, because this Barca team, I'm not going to lie, Hansi Flick has worked miracles. Like, this is the same team that went trophyless last season, were struggling underneath Xavi Alonso. Xavi Alonso was struggling underneath Xavi. My fault. I didn't mean to say Alonso, but you guys know what I'm talking about. They were struggling under Xavi. All that they did this summer was bring in Hansi Flick, and then they brought in Danny Olmo. That's it. And they are just cooking. Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Rafinha, Lewandowski, right? Kubarsi, Alejandro Balde, Jules Koundé. They are cooking at the moment. I'm not going to lie. This two legs, it's not going to be that competitive, because I am predicting Barcelona to go through on aggregate 6-2. The first leg is in Spain, and I think it'll be over during that first leg. I think Barcelona are going to win that first leg like 4-1. You know what I'm saying? Something dominant like that. Dortmund do not have a chance. Let's just be real. But let me know what you guys are saying about this matchup, right? Maybe I'm not giving Dortmund as much credit as they deserve. I just know that they've been shit the last like 24 months. I know that they made the UCL final last season. People are going to bring that up in the comment section. But if you're going to lie to yourself and say that this Dortmund team is good, then okay, fair enough. But I definitely do want to know what you're saying. Now, last but not least, we got to get into the Real Madrid versus Arsenal matchup, because this one is very interesting on paper, right? We got Injury FC versus Hospital FC, because both of these clubs are going to be limping into these two games, okay? Now, let's start off with Arsenal. They're sitting second in the Premier League, and I think Arteta, he's done a decent job. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he should continue to be the manager of Arsenal after this season, but he does deserve a little bit of credit for where he's gotten them so far. But in terms of the matchup, this game, it's a lot of pressure on both these clubs, right? As far as Arsenal are concerned, this is the only chance that they have of winning a trophy. It's the UCL. And as far as Real Madrid are looking, right, we need to win this, right? We have been shit all season, and we are still on for the treble. So you can't be going out to Arsenal. And funny thing is, I like Arsenal. This is my second favorite team. I only care about two clubs in the world. Obviously, Real Madrid is my number one, and then Arsenal are second. So they got to hold smoke, right? I want them to do well, just not against us. Now, when I brought up the injuries, right? Arsenal have been dealt some big blows over the last few days, right? Gabriel Magalhaes, he's done for the season. Jorian Timber isn't going to be available for this matchup as well. So defensively, they're going to be shaky. Kai Havertz is injured. Calafiori, I don't think that he might be available for this game. Gabriel Jesus, once again, is out. So that's some key players for them that they really do rely on. But they did have a big boost in terms of Bukayo Saka, right? He's now back from injury. He scored on his return. That's going to be something to keep an eye on, right? Will he start against us, or will they choose to bring him off the bench? But they still got Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, William Saliba, who I hope we use this matchup as a recruitment process, right? I want to know, how does Saliba fancy the Bernabeu, right? Like, how does he like playing in front of our fans? How does he like the atmosphere? I need Florentino Perez to be negotiating that Saliba deal during this matchup here, because we definitely need a defensive revolution. And I don't think there is such an obvious player in the world of football that Real Madrid should be signing than William Saliba. So, yeah, let's get that done. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need Mbappe, Camavinga, Chouameni, Ferland. I'm going to need them to do a little bit of recruiting, right? I'm going to need them to take Saliba out and show him the city. I'm excited for Saliba to see the facilities, okay? For him to see what life is like in Madrid. But regardless, right, back to the big players Arsenal have. Ethan Nwaneri, he's been fantastic since breaking through. Miles Lewis-Skelly has been balling out as well. Mikel Merino, he's been a big help, and he's more than likely going to be their number 9. It's actually crazy when you think about it. So, look, we know that Arsenal are very good defensively. We know that their attack it's not really that good, right? The midfield and defense, that's Arsenal's bread and butter. But again, with some of the injuries that they have to that back line, we should definitely be able to exploit it, right? We know that they're probably going to play a nasty low block, right? I cannot see Arsenal coming out and actually trying to attack us. Maybe they might, because the first leg is at their ground and the fans are going to be up for it. So maybe with that extra boost, they might attack. But I just think for the most part, they are going to be pretty defensive. Now, in terms of Real Madrid, we're coming into this game injured as well. Thibaut Courtois might not be available. Lunin is going to be out for how long? They said 4 weeks. Ferland Mendy, he's questionable to return. You also got Eder Militao and Danny Carvajal, who are done for this season with ACL injuries. And then there's also the possibility of UEFA suspending some of our players, right? At the time of me recording, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Hopefully, nobody gets suspended because we were just celebrating after knocking out Atleti. It's not that serious, right? Those Atleti fans are shit. They abuse our players. They throw objects at them. They get games postponed, right? We saw earlier this season. So the fact that they're trying to say that we were doing this and that, brother, allow it. It's just banter. You feel me? We're celebrating with our fans who were on that side of the pitch, and the Atleti people could not take it. But the fact that Atletico Madrid tried to send videos to UEFA to hopefully get us punished, find some shame. What a shit club they are. But the players who could be impacted by that, right? Rudiger, Mbappe, and Vinicius. Now, Tchouaméni is suspended for that first leg because of a yellow card. So he's not going to be there. And that can hurt us in that midfield. But hopefully the other guys are available for this first leg, because that would be a big blow for us if we didn't have Tchouaméni, Rudiger, Mbappe, and Vinicius. But look, our squad, I think even if those guys are missing, the expectations, at least from me, would still be for us to advance. I think that we are still better than what Arsenal have to offer. I think with Jude, Rodrigo, Brahim, right? You're going to have, hopefully, some of these guys who are questionable with the injuries back as well. Now, the problem for me is that we are shit, right? Now, I know, like, guys, Valverde, Asensio, like, all these players have been very key for us. We all know that we have that mentality, but this season, oh my days, it has been awful to watch Real Madrid. Let's just be very honest here, chat. I think everybody that thinks we're going to just rock up at the Emirates and slap Arsenal across these two legs, you've not been paying attention. Yes, I expect us to go through. Let's just say that right now before I reveal the aggregate score. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be convincing. We're going to struggle. Arsenal are going to have their chances. But because of our individual brilliance, that's going to carry us over the line. But I'm definitely looking forward to this matchup. I've never seen these two teams play each other. And if you're Arsenal, I think with how bad we've been, this is the best time to play Real Madrid, because I don't see us being like this next season. So with the injuries that we have, right, with the form that we're coming into this game on, we let Real Sociedad score 4 goals. We barely beat Leganes. We've been having shaky wins all season. Defensively, we've been all over the place. So it just depends on who's going to be more clinical. Now, as I said, I expect Real Madrid to go through, right? My prediction for the aggregate is 4-2 Real Madrid. I think the first leg at the Emirates will end 1-1. And then I think at the Bernabeu, we'll do them, right? We'll beat them like 3-1. I just don't think that they're going to have enough to keep up with us offensively. But that midfield and defense for them, depending on who's available, it is going to be pretty hard to break down. But I just got to back my guys to do it. I mean, come on now. We're looking to win number 16 here. And if Carlo does not advance, I need this guy sacked. Like, my patience for Real Madrid this season is at an all-time low. Like, it's inexcusable how mediocre we have been. But get in the comment section and let me know, what are your predictions for this matchup? I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Now, big up to everybody that's watching, right? Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, get in the comment section. I want to know what you're saying about all of these games, right? Because it's going to be pretty interesting to see who ends up making the semis, where those matchups could be crazy as well. And then guess what? We'll do another video just like this for that. But big up, guys. Make sure that you join that Discord as well. It is pinned in the comment section. And yeah, we'll be here for the watch-alongs. But Real Madrid, you must. Dortmund, I don't have that much faith in you. But if you can knock out Barcelona, that would be phenomenal. In terms of PSG versus Aston Villa, that's going to be a good 2 games. And I think the Bayern versus Inter matchup, hopefully it's better than what I think it will be. But those injuries that Bayern have suffered, oh my days. It is what it is though, chat. Let's see what happens, right? Football, best sport in the world. Champions League, best tournament in the world. So let's get it, man. Hala Madrid.